Thanks for jumping on. So you're the developer ecosystem lead at Farcaster, really focused on helping grow the protocol through builder focused initiatives, and also the co-founder of Bountycaster, which is a Farcaster native bounty platform. So
Yeah.
before we dive into your work at Farcaster, I'm interested in getting your reflections on your experience with Bountycaster. Like, did you decide to join Farcaster because it wasn't kind of working at the scale you were hoping, or were there other motivations behind that?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of hit a fork in the road after building a little more than a year. Like, I feel we got our first few thousand users. People love the product, but we were tapping out on Farcaster, which is, we've never claimed like we have millions and millions of users. And so we tried to expand to Twitter and had a pretty tough experience in terms of the API. Like, our bot could only reply after like 5 minutes unless it'd be like really expensive, and it just wasn't a really good experience. And so we felt like Bountycaster was best built on top of something like Farcaster. So my co-founder and I were like, maybe our best efforts is spent on growing Farcaster, and we intentionally didn't wind Bountycaster down. And the Farcaster team is really generous in letting us have all the IP rights and continue working on the side. And, as Farcaster grows, Bountycaster maybe in the future will grow too. So it's kind of like a double down on Farcaster.
So when you started it, did you think Farcaster would grow quicker? Did you just think kind of transitioning off platform would be easier, or were you just like, I have a cool idea for a thing, I'm just gonna go build it?
Yeah, me and my co-founder, kind of Daniel, we approached it more like, so we really wanted bounties to exist. This has been like a very tried product many times in the past. And so we were like, okay, let's do another attempt on it because like enough things have changed. So there was now like stablecoin payments, L2s for fast payments. There's now Farcaster we can build on permissionlessly. And then we also have AI that can process payments and help scale things a lot faster. So like, let's just like see what happens. And people really liked the product. And so we just kept building on it. And it turned more into like, we're really proud of what we built because like people are able to connect and earn jobs and get reputation. And like a lot of people have told us how it impacted them and working with people in the long run. So we were like, let's just keep going and see what happens. So we never we like very intentionally, like this is not a VC like stage company by any means. So we didn't raise funding. We like fully bootstrapped it. And then, yeah, we hit that fork in the road and we're like, Farcaster, like we love it so much and just want to spend our time growing it. So we're going to try to help the other builders not run into that cap. That's the intention.
Yeah. So turning to Farcaster, how many people are using Farcaster these days?
Yeah, so we have 1 million accounts, and then daily active users are probably around like 50 to 60K. And these are like people that are like actively using like a crypto product, and we don't have a token. We're not doing like airdrop farming and stuff like that. So very, very proud of that, and just gotta keep growing that.
Yeah, I think one thing that I associate a lot with Farcaster is like this builder community. I'm curious, of that 50, 60K DAU, can you break it down? How does Merkle look at that number? Are there like, what number of builders are there? What's the geographic split? How do you think about those numbers?
Yeah, so we don't have as much of the geographic split number. I mean, you can have, I guess, like IP address, but like it's people are running VPNs and stuff like that. But it is a very heavy, like I would say, like North American, European crowd, but increasingly having more people from all over the world, just like crypto, I would say. But where the initial network was seeded was, Dan and Varun are based in LA, based in the US. And so like that is kind of where the initial base has happened. So I'm very optimistic it's going to keep growing, especially with base app building on top of Farcaster. They're going to bring a lot of like more global users, and they've spent a lot of time in different countries onboarding people. And then in terms of the builder breakdown, I mean, it's hard to say like the exact builder count. I mean, like it's like what do you consider a builder? But like I would say like builder culture is really, really strong. So I mean, in the thousands of like people that are tinkering with things, or like they are vibe coding, they are like giving feedback and just helping build products. So I would say like that's just a really strong community, and I think you see that like in the timeline, people are always talking about things they're working on, and that's part of the culture that really attracts me to Farcaster. And everyone's so generous with their time and supporting each other when you build something, giving feedback and trying it out. Like I have a mini app tester group, and it's like almost 400 users, and they're all just like trying out mini apps. And so yeah, I just love that builder community.
Yeah, I think like all of Farcaster is a mini app tester group almost.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
I'm curious how you approach your role. Like, are you more focused on kind of broad developer activity and kind of nurturing the culture, or kind of more focused on creating a few killer success stories that'll hopefully attract the next wave?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I think first, like coming in, because like, no one had played this role specifically, I think it was just like getting to know the developer community. What were their pain points? Like, what are things that are easy wins for us to just make it a better experience building? So I think the first few months, because I've been on the team probably like 5 months now, the first few months have been around like, how can we improve just the general experience? And like, the team has just put in so much work, and it's always like a huge work in progress, but the team has put in a ton of work on improving the docs and tooling, and trying to make it a better experience. And then I think now hitting the stage, because we do like a developer survey every 6 weeks, and I've noticed like a very concrete shift of, okay, it's not as much like tooling and doc improvements, but it's more like now we need like distribution and user improvements. And that was always the case, but like I don't see as many of the doc tooling stuff. So now I'm actually, as of like pretty recent, I'm spending more time on just like the general ecosystem, like how can we integrate more into the crypto community. Part of the thinking was also like chain expansion. So we added Solana support, and I've been working with a lot of Solana builders and trying to get them integrated. I mean, it's not super easy, I would say, because like you already have a very heavy Ethereum community, and so really trying to take the time. And I'm very patient with this stuff. Like it doesn't have to be like some overnight integration. So I'm now spending more time on like, I guess like wider community crypto efforts, because like ultimately, if builders' pain points are they need more users and distribution, I'm gonna work on getting them more users and distribution.
Yeah, I think you mentioned your transition from Bountycaster to Farcaster as being motivated by the challenges of the Twitter API and just the desire to work on open social platform like Farcaster. So I'm curious. It's easy to understand from the builder perspective why you would want to build a mini app if you were building a DApp previously. The distribution advantage that Farcaster offers you over just posting your link on Twitter as a rando is pretty great, but it is difficult to get that flywheel going in terms of getting more and more users on the protocol so that there's more of an audience for those applications. I'm curious, what do you think is keeping people from engaging with Farcaster? It seems like it has a lot of the ingredients that CT is interested in, even the speculative elements too, but it seems like there's a community that's drawn to Farcaster and then a large majority who are not making it over the hump. Do you have any insights into what may be causing that perception?
I mean, I think that, and this is only, I can't speak for Dan and Rune. My take is like, first of all, like social is just so incredibly hard. Like there's a reason why there's not like major new social products even outside of crypto, and like the incumbents besides TikTok pretty much dominate. So social is just like a really hard problem, and the team has spent 5 years working on this. I will say, I do think that mini apps and the embedded wallet are a really key unlock, because like these are new experiences that you wouldn't actually get on a Twitter. Whereas in the past, it was like, well, isn't this just a decentralized version of Twitter and like a lot smaller? And it's like, yeah, kind of was. And it's why I personally didn't spend a ton of time. But for me, I started seeing like, okay, Frames V1, which is like a static image and 4 buttons. I was like, okay, this is all Bountycaster is built on. Like we never actually had a mini app when we were building Bountycaster before the team, because we were ahead of the mini app cycle. And so saw that glimpse and like, okay, this is something that is like actually you wouldn't see on a Twitter. And once they did the full-fledged mini app, like these are just web apps, Telegram, mini apps, these are like WeChat apps. And you have the embedded wallet where you're not getting kicked out to another platform. This is like a full-on experience that is really, really powerful and that you won't get on Twitter. So I think that it's just a matter of time that this is going to take for it to start building out the builder community and like getting people to use these apps and like have it be a better experience. So I'm very optimistic that it's now like time to start broadcasting this more to the public, because as I talk to people, they're like, oh, I thought it was Frames V1. Or like, I didn't even realize they had these like powerful mini apps. And so I think it's like, gotta just like have more messaging around it. And then we also found what resonates a lot is like earn your first crypto. And so by default, everybody has a crypto address, and that is completely not possible right now on these centralized social platforms. And so it's a really magical experience when there's like tips going around from your peers and you're just earning crypto. Just earlier today, we were sending crypto to each other. So I think that that is such a magical moment that more and more people are going to start experiencing. And like, I'm very patient with this stuff. So like, it just takes time. Like many apps in their current state are like in the months timeline, right? Like this stuff's going to take years, in my opinion, and that's okay.
Yeah, I feel like repositioning Farcaster as like an app native social network is just so useful, because I think the percentage of people who care about, I mean, a lot of people care about decentralization, but that being like a reason to go use something is pretty limiting. But you really see the value in it when you're trying to go build, an app, and you're not going to get rugged. And also there's, you can pull in the social contacts and the wallet's there. And so I really think this like world we're moving towards, where software as content, having an app native social network is going to be very useful.
For sure. And I just want to also like shout out how great your guys' like crowdfund mini app is. It's one of the first things that I show people when I show what's possible with mini apps, because it's like, okay, it shows off how well the experience is when you just like connect your wallet and like tap and deposit. But then also the social graph and seeing who else is contributing and have that being shared and go viral in the feed. So it's like there's a reason why crowdfund mini app is like consistently like topping the trending pages, because these are things that go viral. So yeah, kudos to you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm curious. Oh, go
for it. Oh, I was just going to ask, you've recently been doing this series of vibe coding videos and building a boilerplate so that you can quickly get started building a mini app with vibe coding. And then on the other end of the spectrum, so that's sort of for like new builders or people who've maybe never thought themselves capable of building a mini app, that's serving that sort of audience. But at the same time, it does feel like there is a dearth of sort of breakout top tier mini apps. I'm curious if you're doing anything on the other end of the spectrum, or if you have any ideas how you might get something like a tier 1 Solana developer to build an app that integrates Farcaster, maybe even in a way where the app works outside of Farcaster, but is extra special inside of Farcaster. How do you think about growth at the sort of other end of the spectrum?
For sure. So in terms of like the breakouts, it's kind of a chicken and egg problem, right? Because it's like they also want to make sure there's enough users for them, because like in their current state, let's say they exist outside of Farcaster, like they already have way more users than what they could get on Farcaster. So it's not necessarily an expansion that makes a lot of sense to them. But we want to showcase like what are things that are not even possible to build in your existing platform. So I've been chatting with a lot of teams, and I think we're really well positioned on the agent front. So like I said, it's building a bot on Twitter is not that great of an experience. And then here it's like, well, your bot itself already has like a crypto address. It now has a crypto address through everybody else. In our case, like when we're building the Bounty Caster bot, it interacts with everyone through natural language. And so we've seen so many other bots do the same. And actually a lot of these bots talk to each other and interact with each other. And so you can imagine that as the agent world grows larger, I think like we are going to see some breakout agents built on Farcaster. So I'm really trying to nurture that community as well, because like I think that's very unique to Farcaster. And then I guess just like spending more time on what are like the apps that are doing really well, like Anois and Tippin and like Griv, like the fitness app has also been doing really well. Obviously, Crowdfund, like it's like I think that really trying to nurture as much as possible, but like I also am trying to be realistic with like where the numbers are for Farcaster. Like you could be like the best app on Farcaster and you still will tap out. And so like I'm spending time growing
There are things, I think, like Clanker, for example, where they nurture the original community and some of the breakout tokens inside of Farcaster, but then have the exposure to the fees of all of Uniswap and DexScreener, et cetera. So I think it's interesting to position it as maybe a springboard for applications
Yes.
rather than like the ultimate limitations. But I do have one question about these apps that you're flirting with in the Solana ecosystem. How are they able to get, like, if part of the pitch of building a mini app on Farcaster is you can get distribution through Farcaster, and yet these apps have more distribution already, and so they don't see Farcaster as an attractive opportunity just yet. How is it that they're achieving that distribution given the limitations of the Twitter API, for example?
I mean, it's a good question. So in terms of like how we position Farcaster though, like I make it really clear when I talk to builders, because like I don't ever want to waste your time. Like we're, I think, the best place to get your first few thousand users. So I think that when I talk to Solana builders, it's often the newer builders who haven't started something or like are just starting something and maybe like haven't seen the huge audience. So I found that that's been the sweet spot in talking to people. So like if you already have a huge audience elsewhere, and I'm also going to be very like direct with like, I think a lot of the numbers like of some of these apps aren't necessarily real user counts, I would say. I mean, I think we all know the airdrop farming speculative.
Million users on testnet.
Yeah,
numbers,
exactly.
yeah.
So I'm just trying to be realistic and what the actual situation is for us to understand. Yeah.
But it's interesting because in a way it means Farcaster, for those people who are able to get an audience, is competitive with KOL marketing campaigns and Twitter bot followers and airdrop farming campaigns inside of that ecosystem, right?
Yes, and I think what's also really important is like these are real users that have the social identity that they can see, right? So I'm not sure if that audio is me or is that me?
I'm not sure, but I can hear it too.
Okay. One second.
I think you're okay.
I don't know if it's me, but okay. So the sorry, what was?
Yeah, my question was, in a way, Farcaster, when competing for attention of
yes.
tier 1 developers in Solana ecosystem, Farcaster is actually kind of in competition with like KOL marketing
Yes.
and other tactics like that.
Yes, and I think what's really important is you have like a social identity attached to your users that you can DM these people directly. You know, these are like real folks, and this is like true signal that people like your product. Whereas like sometimes if you build something and you put a lot of hype in KOLs, and actually I think that's the first time I've said KOL like ever, by the way. I refuse to say that word. All these people, and let's say you have an airdrop, you don't really have the proper signal, like do people actually like your product or not. Whereas I think if you build something in Farcaster and it's like a real product people are trying, giving feedback on, you have more signal. So I find that personally like really valuable, because like at the end of the day, like why be intellectually dishonest with yourself as a builder? Like you're just wasting your own time. So yeah.
To get paid, Linda.
Sorry, I forgot.
Awesome. Well, Linda, we'll have to leave it there and bring the next guest up. But really appreciate you jumping on. I think you're doing very important work in the Farcaster ecosystem and focusing on distribution, not marketing. Can't say marketing. But we'll have you again soon to check in.
Thanks. Okay. Bye.
Thanks so much, Linda.
See ya.